Man City won the treble, but it looks like Riyad Mahrez could be leaving and City will want a new winger after all. I know you've all been talking a lot about not getting stuff done, and I've been saying for ages, just trust this board. They will go into the market if they need to, and guess what's happening? City are going to go to the market if they need to. It really is as simple as that. City won the treble. By the way, I'm wearing the new Asahi Super Dry training kit, which is a big, lovely thing, by the way. But yes. Yeah, that is the headline from today. Everyone needs to calm down. I see it all the time, by the way, but people going on about, like, we're not doing anything in the transfer market. And I've been saying since day one that if City need to go to the transfer market, they will do. But they won't do it until they need to know, you know? But that's how these things work. I've got a label stuck in my back because I forgot to take the label off. But that's how these things work, you know? City are calm. They judge the situation before making a decision. And then they breathe. And then they make action, you know? So City do not panic buy. They do not panic buy. So this is very exciting news. This is very... it's not surprising news either to me personally. Like, I know everyone was losing the minds a little bit because they haven't seen any links. City just keep their cards close to the chest. The Pavard one is a good example of that, or the Akanji one. As soon as it came out that what's the description? What does it say? Sorry. I just realised the description says Riyad Mahrez will replace Riyad Mahrez. Sorry, I'll change the description. Man City will reportedly. There we go. I've now changed the description. So basically I put Mahrez will replace Mahrez in the description. No, but the way I see it is, like, as soon as the Kyle Walker links came concrete, it came out that City were interested in Benjamin Pavard. And as soon as it comes out that Mahrez could go, it comes out today that City will go and sign a player as well. This is how it works. They're not stupid. They're not going to go into the season and just hamstring themselves for no reason whatsoever. So I'll jump over to the headlines. After I say, please do hit the like button, by the way. It would be massively appreciated. But I'll jump over to the headlines right now for you, over to the aggregators. So the breaking news came via Sam Lee. It says, Man City have been aware of the possibility of losing Riyad Mahrez this summer. Have been drawing up plans to replace him. They thought about it with a new winger in case he were to approve the transfer. City are ready to accept the bid from Al-Ali. Basically City are stepping up plans to sign a winger now. So there's no real surprise there, is there? No surprise that City aren't going to go in without a senior winger to the new season. Of course they're not going to. They're not stupid. They're not stupid. They are a sensible, well-run, treble-winning board and management team. These know what they're doing. And you go over to the article, and also the interesting bit of information as well from that article, which I'll jump over to in a minute, is that City are doubling down to keep Bernardo Silva. I'm so happy to read that. At some point, this whole you can go if you want to go thing has to be sensible. It is being sensible. City have told Bernardo Silva he can go if he brings in a fee as good as he is. And Bernardo Silva was literally... Wasn't he in the Champions League team of the year? I'm pretty certain he was. He's one of the best midfielders in world football. And I love this bit of information here where it says City have doubled down on attempts to keep Bernardo Silva. Having seen Declan Rice move to Arsenal for £100 million plus 5, City have used that fee as a benchmark for Bernardo and made it clear to the player just how important he is to their plans. Good. Absolutely wonderful stuff. And he's right, to be honest. Look, he is a benchmark. Enzo Fernandez, Declan Rice, all these players, they are a benchmark. I don't suspect City will ask for £100 million, but they will ask for 80 plus, and rightfully so. And the age, obviously, and the fact there's no English tax and all that kind of stuff. And his contract's got 2 years left, I think. They won't ask for 100 million, but they'll ask for 75, 80 million. And that's absolutely right. Bernardo Silva should be one of the most expensive midfielders in world football because he is that level of good. And I am reassured by this, you know. I'm reassured by this that City are going to be a little bit firmer. It's not a charity Manchester City Football Club. Apparently, like, Bernardo Silva is the one they will put in midfield now Gundogan's gone. And I get that. It makes an awful lot of sense. And, yeah, I agree with that. I'll jump over to the article right now. You know, it says City are stepping up plans to sign a winger as Morin as you're close to Al-Ali move. The Athletic reported on Thursday that the Saudi Pro League club had made a proposal worth roughly 25 million. We're ready to accept the bid, and the reports in the Middle East that medical has been scheduled for this week. City are aware of losing the player and so on, and the new plans have been to sign a player. So basically that's pretty much the crux of the article there. It's all pretty much as you would expect there. As you would expect, yeah, it's all good. Would I take Leroy Sané back? I would take him back in a heartbeat. I love Leroy. I'm not sure if it's a good idea and he should go back that way, but at the same time, I would take him back because I think Leroy Sané's probably grown a little bit. I think he's probably understanding that he should never have left Manchester City. He was always back in Manchester. I've literally seen him about 3 or 4 months ago. A few months back, I saw him at train station, Piccadilly. He was just there, and I was like, oh. I was getting off a train and he was getting on a London train. So he's always over in Manchester in England because I think his missus has got family here. I think he just misses it. We've seen him in the dressing room with the players. Leroy's grown a little bit. I think he would come back. I don't think City would go for it, but I think he would come back. And I think City... We can talk about academy players and so on, like Deschamps mentioned Mabude and so on. I'm sure people will mention Borges or McAtee or whatever. But I think City are going to sign a senior player, and they should sign a senior player. I don't know who it's going to be. And Mikesh mentioned Chiesa. He would be actually a decent bargain sign, actually. People mentioned Olise. Look, I know people will talk about Chiesa and Sané's form, as Travis mentioned, not being great, but I do trust Guardiola to get the best out of him. Maybe Kingsley Coman, as Brillo mentioned. Florian Wirtz, he's not really a winger, Florian Wirtz, but, he's a good player. Mbeumo, I don't know about Mbeumo. I think he's got a lot to improve at City's level. But to be honest, I sort of trust anyone. I know it sounds mad, but if Guardiola goes, yes, and City sign them, I have no doubt they'll be good for Manchester City. Is that a really basic way of looking at it? Yeah, but is it probably a factual way of looking at it? Yes, at the same time. Like, City don't really get these things wrong, do they? Messi on loan, yeah, imagine. That'd be fun, wouldn't it? Yeah, I just trust them. Because fundamentally, City know what they're doing. They are a sensible, well-run, impressive outlet who understand how to get the best out of their players. I don't care who comes in, as long as someone with good experience and a good pedigree at some point comes in. And they are the ones to actually, come in and improve this Manchester City side. And if Guardiola wants him, that's it, Ferran Torres, yeah, no, maybe not Ferran Torres. Matoma from Brighton would be an absolute dream, but it's not going to happen. I say no to Ferran Torres, by the way. He's not quite right. Ferran Torres' biggest problem is the winger. He can't really beat people. Yeah, he's a good finisher, but he's not a natural winger, I don't think. He's not, I don't see it. But I don't care who it's going to be to an extent, I just want to see City come in. First, if you can play right wing, get him in. Would I take Neymar? I think Neymar's a little bitch, but would I take him? Of course I would. He's Neymar, You worry about, disrupting the dressing room. But if Neymar came in, oh, come on, man. He's a genius. He's an absolute genius. I know, he's not the most desirable of people, but he's a genius. So, Pep would make him cook. We can't deny it. Yeah, he'd be wonderful. He'd be absolutely wonderful. He'd be incredible. So I would take it in a heartbeat. Neymar versus Pavard, Kovacic, Gvardiol is a 10 out of 10 window. It is, but it's not going to happen. But either way, it's a reminder to everyone that they need to calm down. We see so many people losing their minds because we haven't yet signed a player, but you forget City will sign people in reaction to people going. And I always thought this week would be the week where things kick off, because this is the week where Guardiola's back in training with his players. The players will come back. Kyle Walker and Mahrez will go to Pep. I want to go, or I want to stay. And at that point, Pep will go, oi, well, piss off then. Get out of it. Exactly like that, by the way. That's what you go, oi, piss off. In some northern accent. You know what I mean? Yeah, that's what Pep will do. He'll just tell him to do one. And then at that point, we'll see a lot of action. And I think this was always going to be the explosive week. I think Mahrez is definitely going to go, by the way. He's definitely going to go. You go there, it's an awful lot of money for him. It makes an awful lot of sense. And City will then go to the market. And I hope they sign a young winger, actually. I want a young, experienced winger, a high-level prospect. I mean, Kvaratskhelia would be the absolute dream. That ain't going to happen, because he's got ADL as the chairman of Napoli, and he would ask for 200 million quid of it. No chance. City ain't going anywhere near Napoli. You're stupid if you go to Napoli and you sign a long-term contract, because you're not going to get a transfer if you do well, if you want to transfer. Yeah, I think we will go for someone, though. Who do I want it to be? I mean, Matoma would be a dream, wouldn't he? It would be a dream, Florian Wirtz would be great. Kvaratskhelia would be great. Mr. Diaby's a good player. I don't know who it's going to be. All I do know is it's probably going to be a bit of a surprise. Like City will go for someone that we're not expecting. There'll be a random name come out of nowhere, and there'll probably be a really good player, or there'll probably be a player that people will go, oh no, he's not that good, and then they'll come in. And then they'll be excellent in time, and they'll be very useful. It could be a bit of a surprise signing, like a Koeman or someone like that. Please not Traore. God, I can't stand Adama Traore. I honestly can't stand Adama Traore. I think he's one of the. I just can't. Everything about Adama Traore rubs up the wrong way for me. Like he just, like Traore is just the most headless footballer. Like he really is, man. He just runs. He just runs, and that's it. And he doesn't do anything with the ball. He runs past 3 people and gives it away. He'd be terrible in a low block. Absolutely terrible in a low block. So, I actually really like Olasey, but 99 more, please stop spamming. But I actually think he's a really good player. I know what you're doing, mate. Which Dembele? You're about Usman Dembele. He's always injured, so no chance of me. He'd just be injured forever. It could be a Vega or a Verts or something like that. I think Olasey's a really good player. I like him. He's got a lot of technical ability. He's a bit raw still. He costs an awful lot of money. But he's a footballer that I would get behind. I think he'd be good at Man City. I think he needs a finishing school that is Manchester City Football Club and Pep Guardiola. But we'll see. The Bernardo stuff is good news, by the way. The Bernardo stuff is good news. Like, he is such a key player that I'm glad City are going to be really, really, really persistent with the fee. Andy Fatty. Do you mean Ansu Fatty? I love Andy Fatty. Yeah, Mark. Andy Fatty's just like the local guy down at the Chippy. Oh, that's Fatty Andy. You know what I mean? He has Chippy every night for dinner. I do rate Eze. Yeah, Eze and Olasey I think are really nice technical players. Like, have got a lot of ability. Eze's quality. Andy Fatty, 47 for Wimenshaw. Yeah, always in the pub, always in the Nag's Head. Got a pint of Guinness and a chippy every night. Oh, Salah would be hilarious, wouldn't it? Obviously not going to happen. That'd be hilarious, though. I know he did. Mark is just funny, mate. I know the autocorrect's hilarious. Alvarez is not a winger. I don't want to see Alvarez play there. Sonny Q. It'd be a bit of a. I think it'd be detrimental to his game. He's not necessarily a dribbling winger. We need If you're going to lose Mahrez is a very particular skill set. That touch, the technique, the goals from out wide, the way he dribbles past people. We need someone like that. We need someone who's going to beat people. I want a similar profile because you do need wingers, man. You need good wingers. And Alvarez isn't really that kind of winger. I do want a dribbler. I do want someone who can beat people because we will sorely miss it if we don't. And the problem we're going to have is replacing the experience of Mahrez. And he's guaranteed goals and he's guaranteed, he's guaranteed assists. But that's Mahrez for you, isn't it? A quality player. It'll be a big shame to see Mahrez go, but I'm sort of at peace with it. I think the Mahrez thing is only a year earlier than it would have been anyway. Like, I think he would have gone, and the way I'm at peace with it, and sort of Walker to an extent, because they're both out of the team. Let's be honest, they were both out of the team as regular starters. That's not to say they should be around the squad zone. They aren't quality, but, I wonder if this affects, by the way, the Cole Palmer situation. To me, by the way, Cole Palmer is the most Mahrez-like. We just never see it because Pep doesn't play him there. But Cole Palmer is the closest I've actually seen to Mahrez stylistically. That's the thing for me. Like, he really is, and we haven't seen a lot of it as a fan base. I've seen a lot of it through the academy because he's played there. But, like, Cole Palmer, does he have to stay if Mahrez goes? He stays for a little bit until we get a replacement. Certainly. Absolutely, because has to. Thoughts on being sponsored by this new up-and-coming drink called Asahi. Yeah, I'm not sure they'll ever amount to anything, this Asahi. You know what I mean? Like, what's Asahi ever done, Who are they? What is this beer? What is this beer, What is this? I got the Asahi, I got the trading kit for it. I've just filmed a video for it, actually. It'll be on my Instagram pretty soon. But yeah, I love the Arsenal fans trying to work out who Asahi are. It's hilarious, isn't it? They're never like, oh, what are they doing, man? What are they doing? $1 billion grossing company, and apparently City are funneling money through Asahi. It's hilarious. Palmer should stay. People don't realise, man, how good Palmer is. I maintain that. We've seen him play left wing in midfield a lot. He's a really good player. I promise you, he's a really good player. And I know this is true because Guardiola wouldn't have had him around the first team for a couple of years if it wasn't true. It's just simple as that. I'm not saying he should be the one to replace him, but I am saying he should be around the first team until we get a replacement before he goes on loan, if he's going to go on loan. Chiesa, I think, would be a good... Yeah, Chiesa reminds me a little bit of Craig Bellamy. Does anyone else see that comparison? Like, I used to really like Craig Bellamy because he was like a hard-working, skillful, direct hustler of a winger. And I think there's something relatively similar about that. And I think his career's dropped a little bit, but I think he'd be good at City. Oyarzabal, yeah, I won't be surprised if we're linked to him again. That's a Spanish one. Cheeky would love him. Cancelo as a right winger. I don't see Cancelo as a right winger. I don't think he's good there at all. I don't think Pep will want him to stay either. That's the thing, isn't it? McAtee, he'll get a chance. Carlos Borges won't do, I don't think. I think he'll go on loan. Kubo from Sociedad, that'd be a fun one, wouldn't it? He's a good player, Kubo. Exciting player. I don't know who it's going to be. I have no idea, honestly. But we'll have to see and be patient. I do think, though, that the patience is the key word here. City do replace players, you know. They do come in. Players do go. But we have to be understanding that City sort of reacts because, look, when you are the best, you can sort of react a little bit. You know, the squad that we got is a treble-winning squad. And so far, only one player is left. And City are happy with Mahrez and Walker, but if those two want to go, City will replace them. So City aren't going to replace them unless those guys want to go. And as I was saying in yesterday's video, the day before, wherever it was, City always have the player ready. They do. They always have the player ready. They have a whole bunch of players, you know, on the list, and they will sign a player if they need a player. And it's not going to be some random. Like, Kovacic isn't some random. Kovacic is an elite level, multiple Champions League winning player. People are sleeping in Kovacic, by the way. But they'll get someone of that pedigree in the way that Pavard is a high... Look, like, I know, like, losing Gundogan and Walker would be a blow. But Kovacic and Pavard are high-level footballers. You know, they are. And they'll be better under Guardiola. And I'm sure that if Mahrez went, it'd be like a player of Gnabry's quality or Coman. It would be. It'd be someone like that, or Sane. I think it would be. So, they're high-level players who would bring something to this Manchester City squad. And they'd fit the system, you know, and that to me is ultimately the only thing matters. It is the only thing that matters, and like, we should be patient. I'm looking forward to seeing next year. I think we will see some changes, and I think we will be absolutely fine, guys. I'll jump on and do another video later. Do let me know down in the comments who you want to see coming to Manchester City if Mahrez does complete the transfer to Al-Ahly over in Saudi Arabia. For now, though, like this video, subscribe if you're new, and I'll catch you all soon. I missed a comment, actually. I missed a super chat. Where was it from? Earlier. I'm so sorry. Who was it from? It's from Bastian Hausen. Bastian, if you're watching, mate. Thank you so much. It says, keep up the good work, Stephen. How is Ruben doing? Ruben's crawling, actually. Ruben's great, little man. Unless you mean Ruben Diaz. But, yeah, I'll show you this, actually. The little guy, a big milestone yesterday. Look at that. Yesterday, he started crawling. There we go. Look at our little man. Look at him crawling. That's our little boy crawling. I'm going to give him a hug right now because he's having lunch. But yeah, he's good, man. He's good. He'll be signing for the Man City Academy before we know it. Look at the little guy crawling, man. I'm so proud of him. But he's good. The family's good. Guys, thanks for watching this video. You're all awesome. I love you all loads. Subscribe. Like this video. I'll catch you all very soon. Ruben's place Mahrez. Maybe it'll be Ruben. Well, he is very good at dribbling. On that note, I apologise. I'm going to leave. He is a good dribbler, genuinely. You know what I mean? In a bit. Bye-bye. Love you all loads. Catch you in a bit. I apologise for that terrible dad joke. But I'm a dad, you know. I'm going to have my Asahi Super Dry beer. Bye-bye.